Major funding for Florida Matters comes from the Mosaic Company, a leading producer of fertilizer made from phosphate, a natural resource found in Florida. America's farmers depend on Florida phosphate for their crop nutrition needs. Mosaic, helping America grow.
We need funding. And although we do have, and the country has, an economic crisis going on, we cannot forget our children.
Hi, I'm Irene Maher. Welcome to Florida Matters. Today, we turn our attention to Florida's public schools. The current economic slowdown is putting a strain on our educators, students, and parents. At the same time, Florida's public education system is under greater pressure than ever to perform. With us today from Tallahassee is the CEO for the Florida Association of District School Superintendents, Bill Montford. Thank you very much, Mr. Montford, for joining us today. I wonder if you could just begin by giving us sort of a thumbnail sketch of the state of education in Florida, given tremendous budget cutbacks, school closings, high dropout rates. How would you characterize the education system right now in Florida?
Well, thank you for this opportunity. First of all, let me say we're blessed in the state of Florida to have the caliber of teachers and support people that we enjoy throughout Florida. It's the strength of our public education system. In terms of financial status, I've been in this business for 40 years, and this is by far the worst case scenario in terms of our financing. And if you look at it, it's an issue that is statewide. There's no district in Florida that has not been touched by this financial crisis. If you look at Volusia County, over a period of 3 years, they have a 3-year plan to close 7 schools. They've already eliminated 1,000 positions. If you look at Marion County in the central part of Florida, 500 teachers were just notified that they would not be back, not be reemployed for next year. And to varying degrees, you'll find that that's the case in virtually every district in Florida.
How about the presidential stimulus package? How do you feel that that's going to affect education in Florida?
Well, we're very hopeful that the stimulus package will come through, and we're confident that it will. We know our Commissioner of Education, Eric Smith, the governor, and other state leaders have worked very hard to ensure that certainly Florida would get its share of the stimulus package. We're also very concerned, though, as to what strings will be attached to those funding. We also have to keep in mind that it's only for 2 years, a maximum of 3, and so we have to be very careful that we don't use that stimulus package funding in a reoccurring costs, such as personnel. We have to be very careful of that. There'll be a lot of earmarks. There'll be a lot of money tied up in Title I and some other areas. So we're having to be very, very creative. We're asking our Florida legislature in this session to give our school districts as much flexibility as possible in terms of the use of the state dollars, and we're asking for the same thing with the federal stimulus package as well.
All right. What about FCATs? They've always been under fire. It seems there's always some controversy regarding FCATs. Is there any plan to make any changes to this sort of testing for students?
I think we need to keep in mind that the superintendents in Florida have always been supportive of a high level of accountability, high standards, and so on. What we have to remember too is that FCAT is just the latest test on the block. If you go back to the 1970s, we had what was then called the functional literacy exam. Now clearly, FCAT is much more of a high stakes test than any other tests we've had before. There may very well be some changes in it, but I'm confident those changes will only come after serious deliberation and quite a bit of discussion. We have to have some measure in Florida as to how our students are performing.
Sure. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today, Mr. Montford.
And thank you for the opportunity.
And joining us now back in the studio to continue this discussion on education is Carson Cooper. Carson?
Well, Irene, we're going to talk about the Florida Comprehensive Assessment Test, the FCAT.
The FCAT is a standardized test given to all public school students in Florida, grades 3 to 11. The purpose of these tests is to assess how well Florida students are progressing and to hold schools accountable.
The original goals of the FCAT were to shed some light on performance of schools across Florida, and that was absolutely appropriate.
About a decade ago, former Governor Jeb Bush believed that a standardized test could serve a better purpose. He instituted his A-plus plan, which links school funding to FCAT test results. Critics and supporters do agree on one thing. Under Governor Bush's A-plus plan, the FCAT became a high-stakes situation, with a lot riding on test results: funding, jobs, bonuses, reputations, and above all, a student's ability to receive a high school diploma. John Perry is a fifth-grade teacher.
Every year, the bar you're supposed to hit goes up. So it's increasing pressure every year. So not only do you have the A-plus plan, which involves a school grade, now you have No Child Left Behind. And so the pressure keeps increasing. So that now it's to the point really where school is all FCAT all the time. It's completely taken over.
Test mongering is when everything you do in the classroom, everything you do in academics, in the school, in the district, is with the test in mind.
Terry Penny was an educator for more than 20 years. In her last 3, she served as an assistant principal in Port St. Lucie.
Why did I quit? I could no longer condone what I felt to be the oppressive environment that existed in the school, to all in the name of bumping test scores up.
Penny felt compelled to write a novel inspired by her experiences as an educator.
In my book, I reveal things that we did as administrators to counter potentials for poor performance in tests.
The fictional school administration in Penny's novel has a practice of withdrawing students who could potentially bring down overall FCAT scores.
I didn't feel good about it. I went along with it, but after a while I just couldn't condone it anymore.
The test can only tell you a certain number of things. It's not perfect. There would be no problem with the use of FCAT or any other test to screen schools for which schools need a closer look, more intensive intervention. But as long as test scores are the primary means by which we judge schools, some principals and administrators are going to put too much emphasis on test preparation and take too much from other important educational activities.
The idea of giving these tests has been around Florida since 1972, and Florida was the first in the nation to mandate a required high school graduation test. For Florida Matters, I'm Carson Cooper.
Tell us what you think about standardized testing in Florida. You can join the discussion by going online to wusf.org/Florida Matters. The statistics are staggering. In Pinellas County, 2/3 of African American students in public schools perform below grade level, and only 21% of African American males who enter 9th grade make it to the 12th grade and graduate. With the recent rezoning of Pinellas schools and budget cuts, certain Pinellas County schools are expected to have higher than normal concentrations of lower achieving students. A group of community leaders came together recently to ask the question, what if? What if they targeted a group of Pinellas schools hardest hit by the rezoning and budget cuts and flooded those schools with resources? Would it make a difference? Take a look.
We're not asking if you will be a volunteer. We're asking when will you become a volunteer? If not you, who? And if not now, when?
Florida's dropout rate is second highest in the nation, with Pinellas County coming in first in the state in a competition no one wants to win.
Statistics are challenging. The number of minority young people that are finishing high school has decreased significantly. The numbers of teachers that are challenged, if you will, by budget cuts and disciplinary problems and challenges is ever increasing.
That's why the community decided to create their own solution. The plan? Match 100 volunteers to 100 high-risk students in 3 Pinellas schools to see what would happen if a school could have all the resources it needed. They call themselves the Dream Team.
We are butchers and bankers. We are teachers and lawyers. We are preachers and fathers and mothers and grandparents and people from every level that have decided that it's important that young people still have the best education possible and the best future possible.
The budget cuts were the catalyst for this program, seeing the need to help students that were facing challenges. As we experience budget cuts across the country, we knew that it was time to step in and be of assistance.
With the school board's approval, the Dream Team is now ready to recruit an army of volunteers to accomplish their goals.
I have the numbers, I go to the schools, I have the reports, and I know what you all are looking at. And so we've stepped up. We're here to help with this Dream Team as well.
There's absolutely nothing more important than this. So there's this other saying that says, each one, reach one, teach one. Y'all heard that before? Yes. So when you leave here tonight, you should become missionaries for this project.
And the schools participating in the Dream Team project don't mind being part of an experiment.
I think the students having a one-on-one mentor or someone who they know is going to check up on them, follow through with expectations, and really push them to achieve their goals, it will be very beneficial.
I think it will be wonderful at the middle school, and our children can really benefit from it.
We get families that want to be involved, but they can't because, they're working 2 jobs or they don't have transportation, and this is exactly what we need.
The mood is upbeat. It's what I call, it's sort of a somber upbeat. You know the stats are real, you know the challenge is significant, and you want to achieve something and do something good and right and accountable. But you also feel good about where we are. Connected as to why we are here. Let's talk about the meat of all of this, if you will.
So I make the challenge that this is just the beginning, and I look forward to looking at the results and worrying about having to tweak things later on. So thank you for your commitment. I'm counting on you to join us in helping our students succeed.
Joining me in the studio is Assistant Superintendent of Pinellas Schools, Solomon Stevens, and sitting next to him is Pastor Lewis M. Murphy, Sr. Welcome to both of you. This program sounds fantastic, a really great way to get kids saved, I guess you could say, in the education system. Has it been done before?
There are lots of programs that are mentoring programs, but I believe that this is the first of its kind. Comprehensive, collaborative effort where you have a relationship between the school district and the community. It really epitomizes that old cliche that it takes a village to raise a child.
That's right. And you're calling it the Dream Team.
The Dream Team.
And one of the mentors, volunteers with the program, of course, is Pastor Murphy. Tell us about why you got involved.
Well, I pastor in the community, and many of our parents are single parents, and many of them really struggle with their boys because there's so much peer pressure. And if you look at the stats, they are alarming. So many of our children are not graduating from high school and ending up in the juvenile detention center.
This is a problem particularly in Pinellas County, as I understand it. Retention, keeping kids in school, right?
It's a national problem, but right now we're focusing in on Pinellas County. We know that Pinellas County is Florida, just in Florida alone, ranked number 5th to 9th in graduation rate for African American boys. Pinellas County, on that list, it's probably 46. That's not good. We want to make sure that we do something about it. We have enlisted the help and support of all groups, the clergy, business owners, just a whole community. It's going to be a community effort. We're excited about the whole notion of coming together, bringing the community to try to change their life. It's affect kids not only currently, but also ultimately in their future.
You're asking people to volunteer to do this. Pastor Murphy, you are a busy man. How are you going to make time in your day to help these kids?
How can I not make time? It's just that important. It's urgent. In my mind, it's a state of an emergency. Too many of our children are ending up in jail, dead, selling crack on crack. Not only myself, but we're really calling on the whole community to get behind the Dream Team.
So you would encourage other pastors, other people in general that may hear this
absolutely.
report to participate?
Yes.
Do you have to be in education or in pastoring in order to be a volunteer? Who can do it?
Well, absolutely not. We're looking for people who are willing mind, who have a desire to give some assistance, who understand the essence of the problem. Understand that in our county alone, as Pastor Murphy indicated, our kids end up with unsuccessful future. So we want people who want to step forward, who are willing, who are able to give some time in the evening, during the daytime, whenever they can give it. We need them in the halls, in the schools. We need them doing tutorial service. We need them doing mentoring relationship with kids. We need them in any capacity they're willing to serve.
When you're hard hit by budget cuts, what kind of an impact can a program like this make in your school system?
It's significant. There's no way that we could meet our needs of the kids without having the volunteers to step up. We are facing at least from $80 to $106 million budget shortfall this year. That's significant. Our kids still need the service. We need them more than any time now to step up to the plate because it's a critical nature. We need people to step up to take hold of this opportunity. It's a crisis situation. We make sure that we have to have a dream team to come together to unite, to build dreams in these kids.
What do you think will be the gauge of success? How will you know if it's working?
When we don't have any kids going when we can, close out all the juvenile detention centers and we have a 100% graduation rate.
That's right, and more kids staying in school just in general, I'm sure.
Yeah. And we probably need some significant things that we can look at. The metrics, achievement gaps. We need to make sure that kid discipline level offenses are down. We need to make sure that their attendance, they're coming to school, they're actually enjoying school and participating.
Right, so you'll keep records and really try to quantify it.
Absolutely.
Well, good luck with it, and thank you both for coming in and sharing all this information with us. I think it's wonderful. If you'd like to talk more about this important issue, find out also how you can get involved. Visit our website at wusf.org/Florida Matters. It's time now for Larry Elliston's next Florida story. And let's just say he had a doggone good time with this one. Take a look.
Tipper, ready? Let's go see the kids.
Among the early arrivals at Oakstead Elementary School in Land O'Lakes, teacher Cindy Goldsworthy and a dog named Tipper. Tipper is a 6-year-old, 6-pound, long-haired dachshund. She's also a trained pet therapy dog and part-time teaching assistant.
Say hi, kids. This is Tipper. She's going to read with my class today.
I don't care if you're reading the boringest book in the world.
Today, everybody wants to be in Mrs. Goldsworthy's class. Tipper started her once-a-month visit to class about 2.5 years ago.
We were trying to figure out a way to motivate students to read a little bit more, and I looked at home and I thought, my children are motivated by my dog at home. Go to bed.
So why not get Tipper trained and certified and bring her into the classroom?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Welcome to the 3rd grade and Mrs. Goldsworthy's
so if
class,
you would, go ahead and close those
where manatees are marvelous, pronouns take the place of nouns, and you can read with Tipper.
Cursive, remember, we're going to do the big one first.
But first, there's another lesson in real writing.
My turn for the O. Again, I'm going to scoot it up a little bit. Come around, like you're going to make the C, go back around and over. Excellent, good, you did it.
And what do you do with the alphabet? You spell and learn new words.
Brisk, the morning was brisk, the air today. Cautious.
Words written into sentences and read in books.
I'm going to bring Tipper out in the center of the room. She's going to do some tricks for you and get you all excited about reading with her today.
Come on. Good girl.
Tipper can come in the classroom because she is a certified therapy dog, which means she's had some obedience training, she's had some temperament training, she's had some testing that she has the right temperament not to be afraid of the children moving around the classroom. If a loud noise like a fire drill or alarm goes off, she has been exposed to some of those things and she'll react appropriately. Go say hi to Scott.
No, it's time to read. Tipper's first reader 9-year-old Shiloh Williams.
Okay, Tipper, this book is about a kid named David. His mom wanted him to get off the porch, but he never does. If you want to get away from someone, check your watch and say, sorry, gotta go.
Tipper makes her appearance once a month. She's a furry incentive that fetches results.
All of my children have been, I think, motivated more to read those longer chapter books on their level. And I think that Tipper provides that extra motivation just to finish that book to get a reward at the end.
Sliding my index finger under the top of the headphones, I pull gently. Whenever I see Tipper, I get happy because I get to read with her.
Reese German read 8 books this month.
This bridge will only take you halfway there to see mysterious land you long to see.
Studies have proven the unconditional love of an animal is a good thing for us humans. Just touching a dog like Tipper offers reassurance and warmth and a sense of well-being. They can be pretty good listeners, too.
Mysterious land you long to see. I like reading with Tipper because she likes to sit with me and read with me, and sometimes she licks me, and most of the times when I hear that I get to read with Tipper, I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to go to the library and get some more books. So yeah, I like to read with her.
Scott, come on over. It's your turn to read with Tipper.
She worried.
9-year-old Scott Matthews has 2 dogs at home and a reading buddy at school.
She had trouble sounding out the words. When you're reading to a dog, you actually feel like you're reading to someone and a person, like a person. And thanks for being a great audience.
Here at Oakstead Elementary, reading to Tipper was going great, and then, doggone it. Just when Tipper was ready for her next student, the alarm for a tornado drill came over the loudspeaker. It was only a practice, but the students and Tipper showed their mettle. And what was Mrs. Goldsworthy saying about loud noises and alarms? Tipper was on top of it, no problem.
Duck and cover. Good job.
You'll be happy to know that Mrs. Goldsworthy's 3rd grade class came out with flying colors on the duck and cover drill, and Tipper too.
You may sit up and listen for directions. Okay, let's go to school.
And now, back to the books.
Thank you, Sam. Hold our door.
What a wonderful way to get kids excited about reading.
I think Cindy Goldsworthy is going to be one of those teachers that her students remember her for doing just that, getting them excited about reading and excited about learning Tipper too.
Yes, I think so. Thanks a lot, Larry. We welcome your questions and comments, so be sure to check out our website and get involved. Go to wusf.org/Florida Matters, and we'll see you next week.
Major funding for Florida Matters comes from the Mosaic Company, a leading producer of fertilizer made from phosphate, a natural resource found in Florida. America's farmers depend on Florida phosphate for their crop nutrition needs. Mosaic, helping America grow.